In this video, I want to begin my look at WooCommerce, which is a full-service shopping cart plugin. It's from a company called Woo Themes, but you don't have to be using a Woo theme for WordPress in order to use WooCommerce, okay? So it's a standalone item completely. Add a new plugin, and we'll just search for WooCommerce. There we go. Now, what you're going to notice when we install this, if you've seen any of the JigoShop videos in this series, you're going to notice a very close similarity between them. So let's activate it. And you get this message right off the bat, this big purple bar. That's going to stay there until you actually do an installation. Yes, we did install it. Yes, we have activated it, but you still have to install it. And what it's going to do here, just as JigoShop did, is it's going to install some pages for you. So let's do this. We'll install that. And actually, if we go over here under all pages, we're going to notice that it's created some pages for us. Now, this is interesting. We're actually missing some pages here. And I think part of the reason is that we've had JigoShop already installed. And in fact, because we've had JigoShop installed, you'll also notice something else. If I go over to products here, which has been created on the sidebar by WooCommerce, if I go to products, I actually still have some of my products installed here. So this is very interesting. It keeps the products that you've created through JigoShop because, and here's where the similarity is, Woo Themes, WooCommerce was taken from JigoShop. So it was a version of JigoShop that got changed and added to, and we're going to see a lot of similarities. And this is where the similarities begin. They use very similar back-end elements to them. So one of the things that's happened is we have not had all the proper pages installed by WooCommerce. So that's going to be an interesting issue. And we can easily set them up ourselves. That's not going to be a problem, but it's just something to be aware of if you happen to have installed JigoShop first. So let's go over to settings here in WooCommerce. And again, very, very similar to JigoShop, a lot of the setup here, but there are some important differences. And I'm going to highlight those differences in particular because we did so much with JigoShop. We're going to really focus on the differences between them here. We want to choose our base country or region. And again, we have lots of choices here from our areas within a country. And this is important that you pick this because this is what your taxes and so forth are going to be based on. This is your location for your shop, and you need to be as specific as possible. Find my Canadian dollar here. I'm going to allow all countries. If you drop this down and choose, you could select which countries you're going to ship to. And that can be very, very important. I'm not going to worry about it here, but quite often this will be crucial because you may not want to have to deal with shipping to the other side of the world or particular countries that you can't even get to because of restrictions, all those sorts of things. That can all be done from here. And if you've got some files for localizing the language of the plugin, you can also put those here. If you check this box off, it will allow you to use your own files, and you'd have to put those in yourself and understand how localization files work. Now we're getting to the checkout and accounts. Do you want to allow guest checkouts, which means they don't have to sign up for an account and that sort of thing? That's the default status here. Show order comment section. Now this is a really powerful tool within orders, and it shows kind of the history of everything that's happened to that order using a comment system, very similar to WordPress's comment system. If you don't want to show that, then you can uncheck this. Then of course we get to secure checkout, and they mention here, when you mouse over these, by the way, you get your little pop-up helps. If you check this off, you have to have a secure certificate on your server. And again, you really don't need secure checkout unless you're processing the payments on your server, which typically you're not. You're going to let it go to a third-party processor like PayPal or something like that. However, sometimes people don't even like to enter their name and address for their account without being secure, so you will have to decide how sensitive your visitors feel things are and whether you need secure checkout or not. Coupons are enabled by default, and also the form on the cart is enabled by default. And enable the coupon form on the checkout. Do you want people to have a second place to enter their coupons, which I think is a handy thing to do, just because they may not have noticed it on their cart, okay? And then they get to checkout and they realize, oh yeah, I've got a coupon. They don't have to go back. So I'm actually going to check that off. Allow registration on the checkout page. Yes, that would be great. Let people decide at the last moment, oh, I do want to sign up for an account there. Allow registration on the My Account page. I'm not totally sure what that involves because you're already on My Account, but maybe they mean if someone clicked on My Account accidentally, even though they weren't a customer, this would have the form right there, which might be a handy thing to do, just so they don't have to click to another page in order to register. Register using the email address for the username. That's pretty typical for people, but it's possible that you might want to allow them to choose something else, so we'll leave that off for the moment. And then prevent customers from accessing WordPress admin. That's going to be interesting. We'll check out exactly what that means when we get to it. Clear cart when logging out. Yeah, I think that's important because you don't want people to have cookies on there that have material. People get concerned about security and that sort of thing. This is interesting. Allow customers to repurchase past orders. That could be useful if they continually order the same thing. So that could be good. Following options affect the styling of your store. If you disable this, you're going to lose the ability to choose here. What's kind of nice is you're not stuck with whatever WooCommerce chooses. You can actually change that right here. So that's kind of a handy thing. Or if you're going to use your own styling, take that off. I'm going to leave these on and we'll play with these later. Enable the demo store notice on your site. If you're just working on it and practicing, this will put a little notice up at the top. And then these are some basic scripts that you'll want to have enabled. Possibly there's places you might want to take those off, but for most people, they're going to want to leave that on. Digital downloads, I'm going to leave that because we're going to deal with that in a separate video. So there we go. We'll save our changes and we've got our basic setup for WooCommerce.